All right, so today we are diving deep into William Golding's Lord of the Flies.
A classic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we've got some really interesting perspectives to consider. We've got this analysis by Laura Antful,
Okay.
and we're also going to be pulling from some stuff on the book's back cover.
Sounds good.
So really what we're trying to figure out in this deep dive is, this book, it's about these shipwrecked schoolboys, and it's supposed to be this kind of timeless story, right? It's endured for decades. So why? Why does it still kind of hit us in the gut?
Well, I think what's so fascinating is how Golding takes this setting, deserted island, it should be paradise, right?
Right.
But he just flips that on its head.
Completely.
And really exposes this dark side of, I guess what he says is human nature.
Yeah, and Anshul really hits on that. I mean, she calls the book like an experiment. What happens when you strip away all the rules of civilization, all those things we take for granted, gone. What's left?
Exactly.
And it sounds like from both of these sources that it gets pretty bleak pretty fast.
It does. I mean, the back cover, it mentions, initially there's this excitement, right?
Sure.
Oh, freedom, no grown-ups. But that fades pretty quickly.
Well, yeah. I mean, how long can that last, right?
Yeah,
when you're actually faced with the realities of survival.
Right, exactly. And that's when those primal instincts, they start to take over.
Yeah.
And you see the struggle for power,
Totally.
Who's going to be in charge? And, well, I don't want to give it away, but it doesn't end well.
Well, you've got to have conflict to have a story, right?
That's true.
So we've got all of this going on, but I think what Golding's getting at, and Anshul really kind of pulls this out, is this idea that man is inherently evil.
Yeah.
I don't know if I buy that entirely, but
It's a bit extreme.
it's a lot, but it definitely makes you think.
Oh, absolutely. It challenges you, right? I mean, it's a very dark view. But if you read the novel, it's not as simple as just like, oh, everyone's evil.
Right. We have shades of gray, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's more about how, fear and desperation, the desire for power, all these things kind of warp us,
Totally. And we see that play out with the characters.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't talk about Lord of the Flies without talking about Ralph and Jack.
The rivalry.
It's like the ultimate showdown.
Yeah.
And to me, it's always seemed like more than just a power struggle.
I agree.
It's like this, I don't know, this struggle between these two sides of what it means to be human.
Right. And how fragile civilization can be.
Exactly. So you've got Ralph, right? He's elected leader.
Trying to do things by the book.
Right. He's clinging to rules, trying to keep things in order. He's focused on rescue.
Makes sense.
Logical, right. But then you've got Jack.
Jack.
All about the thrill of the hunt, right?
Yeah.
He gives in to those darker impulses. And honestly, he starts to kind of enjoy having that power over the other boys.
And he uses it too, right? Like manipulates them, uses their fear.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, how many times have we seen that in history, right?
Right. Charismatic leaders.
Promising simple solutions.
And then, bam, chaos.
And it's scary how, I don't know, relevant that feels today, even though this book was written,
Decades ago.
Decades ago. And I think Golding does such a good job of driving that home through symbolism.
Oh, he's a master of it.
Like, think about PB's glasses.
Yeah. I mean, they represent intellect, right? Reason, logic.
And they are brutally destroyed.
It's like the death of reason as the boys descend into.
Oh, it's savagery. And then there's the signal fire.
Oh, yeah.
Such a powerful symbol. I mean, you think about what it represents, hope.
Connection to the outside world.
Exactly. It's like their lifeline, literally. But then just like their grip on civilization, it's, I don't know, it's always like flickering, vulnerable.
Struggling to survive.
And in the end,
it goes out.
It goes out. It's rough. So we've covered a lot of ground here, and we've talked about how Golding has this pretty bleak view of humanity.
Yeah.
What are your final thoughts on that? Like, is there any hope in this story?
Well, it's interesting because I think in a way there's hope in just recognizing those darker impulses within ourselves. You know, like being aware of them is the first step to, I don't know, to preventing them from taking over.
I like that. Awareness. That's good. So last question. If we're saying these boys on this island, it's like this microcosm of humanity, of the world.
Okay.
Is Golding giving us a warning?
It's possible.
Like a wake-up call to choose reason over impulse, to choose civilization.
It certainly makes you think about the choices we make, both as individuals and as a society. Because like you said, if this is a microcosm, then are we capable of something better, or are we doomed to just repeat these same mistakes?
Man, those are some questions to think about.
Right.
Wow. Okay, well, on that note,